Come on, let's go. Crown steady. All I wait. Which ancestors are whispering? No flex, just recognition. Power seeks power, sits down. There's no competition here, only life. All of the mass will fall. Truth breathes, strength multiplies. Praise be. Ashe. Strengthen your posture, your rising day. Ashe. Ashe, aho, amen. This is Duchess, the spiritual doula. I am coming to you. I am back. Like I said, I have a lot of things that I do on a regular basis. Out here in these streets. I just had a sister of mine, a stepsister. I don't know what to call her. My mom married her dad. We became acquainted over the past 5 years. She just transitioned. I did a lot of work with her on this realm when she was in a coma. And it really was heart-wrenching because there was so much that needed to be done for her on this realm that other people did not do their part. And yes, God is able, Spirit is able to do anything. But a lot of times, Spirit will give you the signs, okay? Just like she had the signs that she was still here, she was still alive, she was still healing, she healed. Her vital signs were immaculate. She was in a coma, sneezing and coughing and making noises, but the doctors kept her sedated enough so that she could not wake up on her own. And they weren't feeding her, so they starved her to death. It was just a lot of neglect. And I was dealing with her, channeling her, telling my family what she needed, what she was saying, and this and the third, and everything was, accurate. Everything. I wasn't even there to see what was going on, so they already knew that Spirit was, and I had a connection with my stepsister. But she was tired after 100 and some days of people not listening, not hearing that she's fighting to live. She wanted to live. She said, she just said, okay, just let me come over to this side, and she's there. She is at peace. She's still, shrugging her shoulders. That's how I see her. Like they dropped the ball, So this is why I'm out here teaching on how to work with your ancestors. And in my other forum that I have with Ethereum Sanctuary, the school, I'm talking about spirituality, how to grow spiritually, how to glide your way. I don't care where people are spiritually. You could be here, you could have had many signs and miracles and wonders and been able to do certain things, but sometimes we get stuck. And what I see today in this culture is the westernized version of spirituality, of religion. And there is a right way. I had a friend of mine say that, over in the easternized, things, what if people made it up? Well, guess what? Being in a spiritual community, being in a spiritual mindset, how you deal with spirit, okay, is your own personal relationship with spirit, okay? So I may have a solution for myself, say to cleanse my house. I may have a way to heal a certain sickness, okay, for somebody that I use for my family, that I use for this and the third. I may have a certain ritual, a certain prayer, a certain whatever. And that's okay to share. We have all these books, we have all this, so-and-so did this, and this is the way you do this. Well, you have to understand that was the way they did that for them. Spirit gave them instructions on what to do. And if you have a relationship with Spirit, Spirit will give you instructions. Because, like my friend said, well, somebody created it, it was made up. Well, no, it wasn't. But spirituality is creativity. Okay? And I'm going to get out here and talk about that because one time when I was in the church sector, as I say, I taught on creative worship, right? Creative enlightenment, creative everything, when it has to deal with the spirit, okay? And what Spirit gives you may be just for you. It may not be the because when we do our rituals, okay, we may use certain herbs, certain crystals, certain whatever. That is just like making a cake, okay? I'm not going to make a pound cake and call it a rum cake because it's not. I'm not going to make a strawberry cake, right? Okay? And call it a pineapple cake when it got strawberries on it. It has its specific ingredients. And yes, some of those ingredients may be the same. Okay, you need the flour, you need sugar, you need the eggs. Okay, but then somewhere along the line, those ingredients get changed to make it unique for what its purpose is. Okay, so I need everybody to understand and understand that. That is why it's so important to connect with Spirit, to connect with the divine, to connect with your ancestors, your angels, your Malachim, which is your angels, your spiritual team. Okay. It is very important, okay, that we understand that, because in this culture, as I responded to my friend, I said, this culture, we already know that the westernized culture, right, them Europeans came over here and they made up their own thing. They also killed in the name of we know who. and said, follow me or die, right? Do this or die. They told people like you and me, what you're doing is blasphemy. You're not supposed to be doing that. And if we catch you doing that, you're going to be jailed, imprisoned, whatever, killed, burned at the stake. Okay? They did the same thing over in the East. Okay? But see, the thing about Eastern cultures is they were able to do what they needed to do to preserve a lot of what is right. Okay? All right? So we already know it's a distorted, and that is the distortion that is going on today. When you see a lot of people turn on their cameras and come up with a new conspiracy. Okay? I just seen a bee hit a fly. So it must have been mechanical, and the government has a chip in the, and watch out for all your bees. Kill all, so everybody's killing bees when we need the bees because of one by person who had made up a conspiracy, a delusion. Okay? It is very important that you stay grounded, and that is why I created the school. I know, and I'm not delusional, okay? I know that right now I have done so many videos on YouTube. I have 18 subscribers. I don't get any views, really, some, but no comments, okay? I am mainly out here, all right, to record information that whoever finds it, okay? Whoever subscribes. Whoever engages will engage eventually. But what I need to do is be obedient to what I'm told to do, and that's why I'm here, okay? So let us get down to the nit-grit, and in the last videos, I spoke about the ancestors of shadow, light, justice, memory, transformation, silence, your spiritual calling, okay? Ancestors of creativity, and courage, and forgiveness, and reconciliation, okay? Which is forgiveness, okay? So right now, I need you to pull in a little bit closer, all right? Because I need us to step into another chamber of the ancestral house. And like I said, there's 80 archetypes, okay? And once I get through the 80, we will go into more detail about them. And I know I'm long-winded, but I got to teach this thing. Just not come out here and just tell you the names and let you fend for yourself. You know, I need to teach you what the basics are. And then you sit with spirit and your ancestors and you go deeper. Okay? Most people think ancestry is only about looking to the past. Okay? All right? They really do think that folks somewhere behind us. Okay? And we're out there and we're out here by ourselves trying to figure out life. They really do. Okay? And that is not the case. That is not how this works. Okay? Time is layered within layered. Okay? Your grandmother taught you patience. Okay? Then you had masons who laid bricks, right, in your family. Okay? Some of those structures we still see today, correct? Okay? And you have the child who's going to be born 50 years from now. And that's why I'm here teaching, right? That is why it is important to really get in tune so you know how to operate and what you need to do so that it can all flow correctly. Okay? The ancestor realm is not trapped in yesterday. It stretches in multiple directions. And it's very important that you understand that. I know my voice is kind of raspy. I'm trying to clear it because I don't know what that is, but that's okay because I was just fine a minute ago. Okay? All right? So you have to understand that it stretches in all directions. Behind you are memories and you have responsibilities. Okay? And then you have descendants. Okay? It is a never-ending story. It is a never-ending cycle. Okay? That you need to, it's important that you understand. Okay, so I want to begin with the ancestors of technology, okay, because people hear the title and think that we're only talking about computers and phones, ancestors of TVs and ancestors of trucks, right? Technology is simply human beings learning how to extend, to stretch, okay, their mind, the capacity of their mindset, okay, the Einsteins of the world, right, okay, the Gaddafis of the world, okay, the first technology ancestor didn't have a screen or a TV or a smartphone. Okay, all right. It may have been the woman who learned how to preserve, you know, your natural occurrences, your food. Okay, till the ground. Okay, make the medicine. Okay, how the man who your grandfather or ancestor that learned how to sharpen the tools, right? Exactly, or the herbs, or learn how to use herbs. Okay, technology changes over time, and it is very important that you understand and overstand. The ancestors of technology were the innovators who refused to accept, okay, the limits of their times, of their season. They looked at problems and asked you, what can be built? What can be improved? Okay, what can be fixed? What can I pass on? What is sustainable? Okay, these ancestors operated through curiosities. Okay, have you ever had an idea hit you out of nowhere, and you couldn't resist until you built it? Okay, you couldn't. It just boggled you. It just bugged your mind. Have you ever looked at an old system and immediately you're like, there's a better way to that? You understand what I'm saying? That impulse that in you to be able to solve that creative, that solar plexus energy within yourself. Okay, to create systems. Okay, like I said earlier, you know, we are creative being. So when you come to spirituality, people are looking for, oh, let me get so-and-so's book on this, and let me get so-and-so's book. Well, that book is good. I mean, to read it, take what you need, throw away the bones, but what's for you is for you. Okay? All right? The expansion that you need comes from your direction the spirit has for you. Yeah, there's tools, okay, of how people had like gained wealth or this and the other. Yeah, there's tools and ways to do something, but what works for you is for you. Okay? Your role is stewardship. How do you take the information that you have, okay, and let it work for you? Okay? That is very important. Okay? Then we have the ancestors of architecture. Remember I said I'm going to give y'all a team on how to understand, and overstand how to work with the ancestors, okay? These ancestors are much deeper than the technology, the brick and the stone, okay? And the creation of the construction, the architecture is the art, okay? It gives now visible shape to what the vision is, okay? Like the ancient pyramids were built, right? Somebody had the technology that created some kind of technology, right? Somebody created the vision, okay? Okay, somebody studied the herbs and the systems, okay? And then you have to have the architectures, the builders, who's building, how to build it, right? The blueprint, okay? All right? These ancestors understand that every structure carries some form of energy, okay? All right? That it shapes people, that it shapes societies, that it shapes what that structure carries will change and will shape that space. You understand what I'm saying? Or what it is for, whatever the structure is for. Okay? They operate in order, okay? Proportion, planning, and endurance. Okay? They don't play no games. They're very structured. You ever hear somebody say that electrician, how detailed they are with information, that, you know, they rarely forget, you know, what they're saying. They're rarely on point. And that's much like the ancestors of architecture, okay? It is important. What you learn with them is what you build must be strong enough to shelter, to hold, to cover, to sustain, okay? Much like the technology. Ancestors, okay? The builders, what are you building? Okay, all right. When you organize your home, okay, are you setting healthy boundaries? What traditions are you creating? Institutions, you know, your vision. You had the vision. You put down on paper what your vision was. Okay, the technology of it. Okay, what it's going to look like. And now it's time for you to build. Okay, what are you construction and will be sustainable, or will it float away? Will it be? I know I like the rock a lot. Will it be forgotten? Okay, and then you have after that the ancestors of community. Okay, all right. So after you done built the structure, right? After the structure then has form and shape, okay? The ancestors of community, okay? And this is important because this is the part of life that we see today that is null and void. I mean, and it's not just community, your neighborhood. Community is everywhere. How you operate with people, okay? How you structure. Do you have community in your home? Do you have community in your workplace? Do you have community, you know, in the grocery store? You understand what I'm saying? You can't do everything alone. Okay, it is very important, okay, that you understand that, okay? These are the ancestors that held the structure together, okay? So we have the architectures and building, they build the structure, and the structure carries energy, the structure shape. Now we have the community ancestors that's holding it together. They are the glue, okay, to this, okay? And it's very important, okay, that we understand that survival is collective. Okay, you have babies out here. These kids is raising themselves. They're not intended to raise themselves. Okay, all right. Our old folks are in old folks' homes, and family members, you know, get older, and the younger family members don't want to care for them no more. They want them to go up there all worried about themselves. You understand? But the loudest one crying at the funeral when so and so dies, but you neglected them. Okay, the ancestors of community will teach you how to operate through connection. Okay, they are presence whenever you gather. With genuine intentions, not anything that's going to be dysfunctional. Okay, all right. So when you're together with your family, you could be at the barbershop getting your hair cut, anywhere. Family reunions, they show up and they're pulling on. You ever had that auntie that every time she came around, or that cousin or that family member, that every time they came around, they were like the sound the alarm, you know, or people like to call them damper dams, you know, like, oh, they bring the mood down. No, but they're telling the truth. We need to come together. We need to, you know, spend more time together. Here's a list of numbers. I have an auntie, or cousin actually, who is our historian, okay? And she's like the same way, you know, but you can't force a spoon in somebody's mouth either. You understand what I'm saying? But that's what the ancestors of community want, and that's what they thrive on, is the connection, okay? Okay? Staying in contact, staying in unity, walking in stride with each other, calling each other, seeing how that you are doing, visiting, teaching somebody, feeding, or you know somebody that's hungry. And it doesn't just have to be your family. It's just wherever you may go. Okay, all right. Your gifts are not your own private property. People understand our gifts are meant to give away. You understand what I'm saying? And it takes community. It takes a people that helps keep the structure in line. Okay, helps keep the structure going. Helps the energy in the structure with the architectures know that the structures carry energy, right? Okay, the vision was laid out by the technology ancestors. How it's supposed to maneuver, how it's supposed to work. It's all written down. Okay, it's all ready to go. Now we architectures, we build. Okay, now it's the community that keeps it together. Okay, it has to be order. There has to be order. Okay, and this is what our ancestors come to teach us and to tell us, that we have to be order. Okay, all right, and without it we become arrogant, you become lost. Okay, you become prideful, you become isolated. Okay, you become angry. Okay, you become depressed. You need community. Okay, I'm one that I like my solitude. I know when to be quiet. I know when to have my solitude, but I also know when I need community. Okay, I try my best, and we do a great job at it, but to keep community even in my home. You know, if you're in your room for too long, watching your own TV, playing your own game, no, you need to come out and interact. You understand what I'm saying? To keep the balance and to keep the energy conducive, even in my own home. So that is very important. Okay. Okay. So now we go to the ancestors of children. Okay, and this is very important. Okay, children do not only belong in the future. Okay, okay. They also are in the ancestral realm as well. Okay, every child carries an entire nation with inside of them. Okay, literally. All right, you have to look at your child or children. They have their own journey. They have their own plan. They have their own world. Okay, just as big as your world is as big as theirs, or even bigger. Okay, all right. Every child carries the seeds. Okay, of something new, something innovative, something that nobody has not seen yet, or something that is reawakening. Okay, in this realm. Okay, you know, I was at this football game the other day, and a little girl had these ashy jeans, but she called them wash jeans, but we call them ash jeans. You know, little faded jean, thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, everything literally comes back. Okay, the children ancestors are the guardians of innocence. Okay, possibility, play, imagination. Okay, continuality. You understand what I'm saying? They remind us that every choice, okay, that we make has an effect. Okay, it echoes, it brings forward. Okay, I have a book about childhood trauma, how to unlock the inner child. I teach it. The one thing about the children ancestors are they operate through laughter, through joy. Okay, your curiosity. Okay, your imagination, like I said earlier. Okay, through the questions children ask that adults don't want to ask, or they don't remember. You understand what I'm saying? They want to know the intricate things. Okay. The children ancestors will teach you how to leap for joy. Okay. They also will teach you that protecting children is not about keeping them safe physically. Okay, it's about protecting that joy, that wonder, that excitement. Okay, protecting the creativity. Okay, my children, people always say my children are like yesterday. They're like, oh, you have a 17-year-old, but he's not the 17-year-old of today. He's the 17-year-old of yesteryears. And I really pride myself on my kids still growing and developing properly. Okay, not trying to grow up too fast in this world, to actually know that they are getting everything that they need to get. Okay, to preserve. Okay, what needs to preserve, because this world, not only do they need it, but this world needs it, and what the world that's moving forward, okay, that's echoing forward needs, okay, is very important. Okay, all right. So you need a pencil. Okay, all right. Make sure you bring it back. Okay, all right. So what are you handing the next generation? Okay, are you giving them wisdom, or are you giving them trauma? Okay, are you giving them courage? Are you giving them fear? Are you giving them tools, or are you giving them burdens? It's very important to understand that. Okay, so we talked about the technology, we talked about the wisdom, the knowledge, how it works, right? We talked about the architecture. Okay, we talked about the community, we talked about the child, keeping the joy, keeping the imagination, keeping the love, keeping the excitement, keeping the curiosity and the wonder. Okay, now we have the ancestors of dreams yet unborn. Okay, and like I said, I'm just going to try to give you my little you may go through these lists of ancestors and say, hey, I think this one and that one works better together. Well, this is how I work it, baby. So I'm just going to give you what I have and how I move through them. Okay. All right. Yet unborn. Okay. So this is the ancestors of dreams yet unborn. This is a careful place because it calls you to kind of stretch your mind a little bit. Okay. So I want you to sit here and I want you to hear me, and I want you to, if you're watching, take notes. Okay. All right. The ancestors of the dreams yet unborn. Okay, ancient wisdom is in this space. Okay, all right. You have to understand that not only is ancient wisdom in the space, but that the future has a voice as well. And a lot of people say, think of your now, don't think about the future. You must. It all comes together. And when you sit with spirit, it all comes together. Okay? You may not be here yet, but spirit is preparing you for that space. The spirit is giving you the tools, the technology, the architecture, the creativity, right? The community. When you're meeting people who are on the same path in space. Okay? You're what is the word? Not navigating, but I can't even think of the word right now. Networking, right? And finding out new and innovative things. Okay, all right. The descendants who are the people, the energies that are not yet born are already shaping the choices we make today. Okay, like I told you, time is layered. Okay, it is a layered construct. Okay, and every time you heal your anger, all right, every time you choose to heal your anger, every time you learn. See, we have the technology. Okay, listen, please. You have the technology ancestors, right? You have the architect ancestors. You have the community. You are not by yourself, okay? All right? You have the children ancestors, where we are leaping for joy. We are walking in imagination limited. We are a nation, a world within ourselves. And then you have the ancestors of dreams yet unborn, okay? All right? Okay? And like I said, every time you heal, you choose to heal your anger, learn emotional intelligence, break even addiction, choose to be honest, choose to live a life of freedom, okay? You are preparing. You can't point your fingers at other people. What you choose shapes what comes forward. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I have my children. My sister and has her children. My brother has their children, okay? And in my family construct is dysfunctional. It is. Okay, but in my home, me and my children, we have community. Everything that I teach here, I teach in my home. We walk it. Okay, and as much as I try to enlighten and shed, my family knock on my door when they need me for something, right? Okay, I pray for them all the time, and pray that these things move within their life as well. Okay, but because of the choices that they make, it's going to shape what comes after them. I gave my nieces and nephews, my oldest ones, a great foundation. Okay. And I believe that some of that foundation is what's kept them on some kind of path, right? But I wasn't their sole teacher. And being removed from that is why things are the way that they are now. And I could see the patterns in my brother. It hurts my heart. And my brother's children and my sister's children. You okay? You understand what I'm saying? Okay? While still here breaking cycles and doing things in my own family, so that what comes forward, okay, after us, our descendants, what it is, what we're building, okay, last. You understand what I'm saying? The ancestors of dreams unborn are not some kind of phantoms from the future, okay? They are possibilities, okay? Looking at you saying, hey, I need you to get together. You ever see a movie? Because I believe in alternate universes, okay? I believe that what I'm speaking about right now is happening already. We haven't caught up to it, okay? That may not be your belief, okay? But have you ever seen a movie where somebody from the future comes in, all right? And they can't really interact because they might change the future, or they might see themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Time is layered. And when we start to understand how to live layered, man, oh man, you understand the whole, you bust this thing wide open. Okay? So calling back to us saying, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You can't do that. Because if you do that, this has happened. Because I need this to change. This can't be like this. And if you do that, this is the outcome. You understand what I'm saying? The Bible says the crooked paths are made straight. How? How is that? The crooked paths are made straight. And this, I believe, this is one of the constructs of how that is made straight. Because of what has been, what is now, what is coming, is all working in sync together. And when you understand and you understand that, man, you make better choices. You say better things. You treat people better. You walk better. You live better. You eat better. You learn better. Okay? It's very important. It's bigger than your own. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than your own comfort. Okay? Many people say that they want to walk a spiritual path. Okay? That they want to be enlightened and awakened. Okay? All right? But this is it. This is what it's about. We are here on assignment. Our assignment, okay, is this. This is what's part of it. That we are successfully doing what we need to do in this realm. And yes, I know it seems like I was created just to do all of this healing and to do all this trauma and to do all this lack and to do all this. Really? for other people to come and have to do this, fight to do the same thing over and over again. You have to see it's not about that. You have to see the bigger picture, okay, of it, okay? The humanity, the earth, the sustaining, the spirit, okay, the flow, okay, all right? These ancestors that are yet dreams yet not yet born, they whisper to your soul, okay? How are you going to leave this world? Are you going to leave it like you found it? Okay? Or are you going to leave behind wisdoms and secrets and jewels and gems? Okay? Okay? All right? All right? It is very important that we work with these. You may not get all the answers that you need. Okay? All right? You may not understand it all. All right? It may not be meant for you to understand everything. Okay? All right? All right? Working with these ancestors means becoming a good ancestor, learning that there's more out here in this realm of possibilities, of the spiritual realm of possibilities. Okay, this is not it. I believe that this realm is just a training realm for the real big shindig. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't. Some people pass prematurely. Some people graduate, out of here. But we have to be. We can't carry that stuff with us either, because what we carry with us and what we don't fix here determines what our next is going to look like. Okay, so this isn't just natural. This is spiritual. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, we have to be mindful of what we do, how we heal, how we move, how we breathe. And these ancestors teaches you. Okay? All right. It is very important that you understand that. Okay? Everybody wants to talk about power. Okay? Everybody wants to talk about gifts and visions and spiritual experiences and who shot John and I can do this, can you do this? Have you done this? I can do this? It's about competition. Okay? Okay. But nobody ever takes an account to what we really need to be doing and how this really operates, how to be successful, how to connect truly to spirit. Because that's where it is. That's where the base is. That's where the foundation is. Okay? I don't care. I read so many books. Okay? So many books. All right? I teach so many things. But the true basis is staying in connection with the divine. You're not by yourself. You're not supposed to be by yourself. We all work together. Okay? And in order to see the manifestation of what we're supposed to be seeing, okay, you have to be in sync and in tune. Okay? And this is why I want to talk about, this is why I put the heart ancestors within this. Okay? Within this sphere of ancestral work. Okay? Because they shape you. Okay? How you love, how you grieve, how you respond to even rejection, affection, expression. So you understand what I'm saying? Your inherited tenderness, your emotional distance, your sacrifice, those walls you had built up. Okay, some things were inherited, some things were brought on by things that you've been through. Okay, the ancestors of heart flows from the technology down through the architecture, down through the community, down to the children, down to the dreams yet not born. Okay, all right, because they govern the attachment and the devotion and our intimacy and our friendship and our romance and our compassion. Okay, they operate through the emotions. Okay, but your emotions is only the surface. Okay, beneath every emotion is your memory, and it's very important that you understand and that you understand that. Okay, why does one family hug constantly? Why one struggles to say I love you? Right, the brokenness. Okay, all right. The heart is the space that we need to pull from. Okay, the heart protects. Okay, the heart has many emotions. It fears. Right, the heart can hate. Okay, working with the ancestral heart means becoming a student of love. Okay, because for any of this to flow correctly, we talked about the ancestors of shadow, we talked about the ancestors of light, we talked about the ancestors of justice. Okay, we talked about the ancestors of the land, the ancestors of the elements we're going to get into. Okay, being a student of love and not fantasy is very important. Okay, learning how to apologize, learning how to reflect, learning how to receive attention, learning how to set boundaries, learning how to grieve. Okay, learning how to remain open. Okay, all right, that is very important. Okay, refusing to repeat emotional patterns and wounds. Okay, all right, you will see what spirit has for you and why, what spirit has, because a lot of times we can't come out here and just give all the answers. I mean, there's some things I want to say, but I know that it's a secrets of, this is something that you have to be revealed to you. I can't just come out here and be giving out all this, because spirit can't trust me with nothing, right? I become a open door, a refrigerator, and I can't trust her. And she been telling all the secrets, and I didn't tell her to say that, you know what I mean? So you have to be very careful. Okay, all right. So you need your feet to be planted deep within the earth. Okay, stay connected. Okay, all right, take care of your body. Do what you need to do. I know just this week I was talking to somebody because I felt like this illusion, I could feel it, but Still got to pay my bills. Still got to keep the word. Still got to participate, in these mundane things as well. Okay, staying connected by remembering it and observing the ancestral realm, studying and living with the intention. Okay, becoming the bridge between the two worlds. Always staying open and praying. Right, keeping the responsibilities that I need. Knowing that everything that I do, this week I made some special meals for my family, that I haven't made in a long time, you know what I mean? And they're like, or whatever, they brought a different energy within the house, encouraging people, you know what I mean? Keeping my promises, okay? Just doing what I need to do, homeschool my kids, or keeping everything that I need to do to make sure that my kids are learning what they need to learn, and that it's not devastating, but that it's fun, okay? That it is engaging, okay? I had to sit and work with my ancestors of technology to even do my lesson plans for this year for my children. I have two that and there's things that they want to do. They have dreams and aspirations, and I want to do this, and I want to do this course, and I want to say, okay, well, we got all of that technology together. And I say technology is not just your phone and the computer. It's really formulating a system that works, right? Now, we're building upon it, okay? Working with the ancestors of architecture, okay? We have community, okay? We're dealing with our child's ancestors. We're dealing with the dreams yet not achieved, yet not born. Because when all this is in place, we're setting up for the echoes of what's to come, okay? All right? Okay? Learning how to maintain, okay? That is why these ancestral realms really matter, okay? Technology gives you the task and asks you whether we will innovate with your conscious, okay? Deals with your consciousness, okay? Okay? The architect asks, what kind of world are you building? What are you building? You have to ask, you have to ask these questions, okay? All right, the community, are you still working together in unity? Are you building together? Do you belong to one another? Sometimes you're in a community you don't need to be in. Finding your own tribe. Like I said about my siblings and my mom and my family, hey, Spirit let me know a long time ago, hey, that is not your community. This is a place, that's where I brought you through. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm still connected to them. I still work with them. But that is not, no, because staying stuck there will drive you crazy. All right, it will stagnate you. Okay? All right? Okay? And are you preparing for the future? You have the dreams yet not unborn. You're preparing for the future. Okay? The child asks, do you remember your responsibility? I'm the child, you're the parent. And the ancestors of the heart ask you to analyze what's inside of you. Okay? After everything that we have survived in life, this is important. Okay? Can we still learn how to love and how to move into what we need to move into? Can we heal? Can we build? People are asking so many questions of how to do this, and I need this spell for this, and I need this herb for this. People come to me, and if I give them my card and they see herbalism on there, oh, you do herbs? This lady just wanted me, a couple of people, but this one lady recently, oh, I need this herb and I need that herb. And I said, well, ma'am, before I give you anything, are you on any medications? Do you have any health issues? Because this herb is very serious. She's like, oh, I heard about it, so I'm going to try it. No, that's not how it works. Not with me. Go to somebody else that's uneducated. You understand what I'm saying? We are here to operate better and differently. You understand what I'm saying? So, yep, that is all for today. That is the ancestors of technology, architecture, culture, children. Go back and, watch and take what you need from it. And I see you in the next video. Who knows when that will be? You know what I mean? So, we are going to go deeper into this. I'm going to try to do a video today. I don't know what time it is. About 12:46 in my time, Eastern Standard Time. So I may come back out here and go over to the school parts things. Or I may just do some more ancestry things. I don't know what is going on with this coffin and whatever the heck is going on, but it needs to cease. I do think that it was my sister-in-law because, well, it's my stepsister, because she couldn't speak, but she was making like noises. So it's like something was stuck in her throat that they needed to clear it out as well. So I'm kind of feeling that, even though she's passed on, they're not planning to do an autopsy on her, which I think they should. I mean, I know she didn't want to be cut on, but they need to get the answers that they need. My mom said, well, it would hurt their heart if they found that they could have did more, but they didn't. Well, we've been telling them for 100 and some days to do more. And I think that they need to get the answers that they need, that she was to know that she was fully functioning, and that the doctors let her sit there and just gave her comfort care and didn't do anything with all the technology that they have out here in this world. You understand what I'm saying? So, but that's what I think this is from. So, but I'm going to keep coming out here. I'm going to keep doing these videos. And I am going to get through this so we can get down to the meats of it all. Okay? But I love you guys. You guys have a great day. Grace and peace.